Okay, looks like I am live. Um, okay, so what am I gonna be doing? Um, I was working on a separate project to what I'm streaming now, but it was like I was working on like a game engine. I was thinking one of the essential parts of game development is you need to be able to develop quickly, and well, that's kind of the weaknesses of Rust. You can't really hard reloading is not really viable. One, because like messing with crates and then dynamic libraries with Rust is it's just a pain, especially with cargo and such. And then another alternative would be just like recompiling the whole engine. But Rust compile times are long and they're slow. So my initial thought was, okay, then you can use like a scripting language like Lua, but those are kind of, for one, they're kind of not performant, but also it's dynamically typed, and man, I like my language statically typed. So the next step was why not use WASM? As for those who don't know, WASM is a fairly new technology, WebAssembly, where browsers will use it alternatively rather than JavaScript, with its advantage being that any language such as Rust, C++, or C can compile down to it and supposedly have the same performance. So my idea was you can now, although is made for browsers, you can embed them into just your normal running applications using libraries such as WasmTime or Wasmer, which would have fit my needs most likely. But I mean, you kind of lose a lot of the unique aspects of each language when you start using WebAssembly, because it's like now you're messing with WebAssembly itself. And there are solutions that I could have come up with, but quite frankly, I was could not be bothered. Also, I was like, okay, I'm in a situation where I need like some type of custom scripting language. So why don't I make my own? Now, this is not going to be a scripting language. I decided that against that, I decided to shelve the game engine idea, but I still wanted to create the language. And language I was starting to create was called Thorium. With here's a simple thing. With this simple compile, I've sort of developed a bit of the compiler, which compiled down to WAT or WebAssembly's text representation, and then could run using any WebAssembly runtime. But before I continued, I decided that I think I'd rather not compile down to WebAssembly and make my own thing. So this is highly similar to what Java and C Sharp do, because one of the advantages of WebAssembly was that it was so portable. But that's kind of what Java tried to do. So it's like, okay, why not just try to create my own version of Java and C Sharp, right? And that's what we're going to be doing in this stream. Uh, Currently, it's can compile down to WebAssembly, but the current idea is to create my own bytecode, which will create my own virtual machine and bytecode that can run that virtual machine. So, what? Okay. Um, Not really sure what to call the project, as this the normal language and the normal compiler that will compile to the bytecode is called Thorium compiler. Maybe we'll just call it Thorium virtual machine, or not Thorium VM. Now, the reasoning why I named it Thorium, there's no real reasoning. It was just a name I picked. So I there's no real deep meaning. Like, I think Rust was named after fungus. Python is named after it's a Monty's Python, and I don't know what the other languages are named after. But no, this doesn't have any unique naming like that. But let's check if everything is okay. Go run. Okay, we are compiling. So first things first, we need to kind of come up with. Oh, I'm not actually sure what we do first. Well, okay, looking at the examples I've done, I guess the first step is to try and get this to work, which is just a program that will return. So in terms of the VM, I need to find a way to put a integer, specifically a 32-bit integer on the stack, and have some form of functions, although I don't think I need to go too in depth with that, and then have an instruction to return. Okay, so first I think we need to figure out how do you read a file content and command line arguments. Okay. I also think I might need to tokenize this at first. I'll probably just steal the tokenizer that I started here. Although it's not really the best tokenizer and it's fairly simple, so I think we can just remake it. How do you create modules again? Okay. There's no, I don't think this is right source code. Is my extension working? I'm pretty sure it's meant to be yelling at me at something. I didn't, because I didn't include certain stuff. Yep, there it is. Yeah, I see. I shall fix. Okay, we need to import that and use std fs. And then I think at least for now that seems to be it. And then create this file and tokenizer. So I guess first we'll need to create some enum for the instructions. So tokens. And now let's see, how would this file here compile down to bytecode? Okay, let me see. We'll create a new file called okay, what should the extension be? We'll simply call this test.thb thorium bytecode. Maybe we'll change the name, and then how would this look? So this is how the WASM thing looks. I think the language is mostly going to be inspired by WASM because it's the only assembly I know the most of, and the previously I was compiling down to WebAssembly. Also, I don't think it's a bad architecture as it does claim that it's as fast as native code. So hopefully that isn't a problem. Anyways, how would this be done? I guess first we'd have like some form of a function main, and WebAssembly seems to use this $, which seems a bit odd as modern programming language like suffixes variable names by or function names by $signs, but I do believe during tokenization having this $, I think it's tokenization or parsing, having this $sign makes it really easy to look up whether this is an identifier or a function or a variable name. No, sorry, if it's a keyword or an identifier. So we'll probably keep it main, and then I guess we should also have a return type alt and then I32. And then here, again, I think I might just copy it as it's basically saying put this on a stack. I believe. Now, I actually don't know if WASM has multiple like stacks or if it's one stack. I think it's multiples. We'll see if I'm wrong later down the line. But anyways, this would be i32 dot const 64, and then an instruction, which for now we'll just call it return, although we could just shorten to ret. And this is where things get interesting, is that not only in WASM but also like normal assembly, you need to have this start thing, and here it's exported. I'm not sure if we should have exports like this, but I'm also contemplating whether ours should also have like the start thing. Because I think I think it's useful if like you don't have a main function, so you don't have an entry point. You wouldn't have this start function or start label in your assembly. So for the sake of simplicity, we shall do it as well. Func $sign start, and similar to how it has it, we'll also export it, and have exports just be a string start is result i32, and then we need to call the function. So call $main. So we just need to get this function working. Have a function that can return with this imported, it should be able to return 64. So the tokens we have here are a function identifier, a so func keyword, and then func ident, which will be a string. Preferably this would have to be a string size, but I don't feel like worrying about lifetimes right now. Sounds like a problem for for future me. We have results, and then I believe this. Okay, so we'll have the type be a separate token, i32, which would be right now. Why am I adding parentheses? I don't think I need to add parentheses. i32, which will I think i32 obviously take in i32, and maybe let's add some colons. Yeah, okay, then we have colon, and would the dot be I think so, yeah, it's full stop or period for the American folks, and then const, and we will have integer, which I think, because I plan for this to eventually go up to I128, we'll have the integers be represented by 128 bits, and we need the return statement, and export, and a stringlet. Also have just be string, because I could not be asked, as well as a call instruction. Okay, that's all the tokens for now. Then comes the tokenizer. Probably end up stealing a lot of code from my previous thing, or at least the code that I can steal. Okay, so pub function tokenize content string and it should return a vectors of token. So this should not be plural as it's only one token. Huh? Oh no, right. Okay, let's get a empty array of the tokens that we shall return. And then content characters. What was I doing here? Okay, damn it. Reading back at old code, this is going to be quite the painful experience. Let's see. Why the hell did, oh, okay, I see. Yeah, no, it's coming back to me. Why did I write it like this? Anyways, I think, yeah, I was trying to get an iterator of this and store the iterator separate. I have no idea why I named it content characters, but we'll stick with the name. And then while there is a character to come, hence why we are peeking, as we might want to see the next element in the iterator but not necessarily consume it. So we do dot peek and then dot is for sum, as I believe peek returns an optional, right? And then if the next element is nothing, then we already know we've kind of reached the end of the file and we can end the loop and then just return what we've collected. As in here is where we start consuming over each of the characters and putting them into or identifying them and then putting them into the array of tokens. So anyways, we get, I really hope this code was good, because we'll continue, never mind. People content jars wrap. I know having unwrap here is really bad, preferably return result type, but again, sounds like an issue for future me. And then we create a buffer, as what we end up doing is that we'll loop and we kind of collect each of the characters in a thing. So if we get a, no, wrong thing. So if we get a, where's the bytecode? Yeah. So if we get an F, we know that, okay, this might be a identifier. So we need to collect all the statements until we find the space. And then once we have it here, which is what we'll be storing in the buffer, we can then compare it to func and then see if we actually have that. Hence we created, it's just going to be a new string. And then we shall repeat is white space and is not packed. Why did I not include? Oh, I think that has to do with this language being sort of, you don't need the semicolon. I think that's why this would have it, as I don't know why that doesn't include white spaces. Although, with that being said, how would I separate statements? Man, what was I writing here? I don't think I need to include this part. Oh man, these are days where you wish you commented your code because I have no idea what I'm writing, what I'm copying, or what I wrote. So if it's P. Alright, because we skip, if it's a white space, we don't want to put it into the buffer, we simply skip it. Although, wouldn't that mean we need to like finish the buffer? But what was I writing here? What the hell was I writing? Damn. So we're saying here, if it's the white space, buffer dot clear, and then wait, when did we compare the buffer? Am I stupid? Okay, here's where we like compare words. If constants at peak is some and. Oh, okay. Okay, no. Man, what was I writing? Never mind to copying my passcode. I have no idea what I was writing. But okay, if it's white space, we will simply skip it. Next. Right, and then else if peaked is not even alphanumeric, if peak is alphabetical, we know it'll have to be some form of either identifier or a type. Right. Is this the best way? As I don't really think it really matters. We just need to check if it's long as it's not as simple like this. No, I think I can do this better. There's a smarter way of doing this. I think I just need to check if peaked is the equal to $, then we know it's going to be a function identifier, right? Although now looking at this, I don't think we need the $. No, because if it's a yeah, I'm not sure why normal words has the $. To include or not to include. Okay, so currently I don't see any reason to include it, so I am simply getting rid of it. And okay. And then rather what we can do is that we know if it's starting with a letter, that is of okay, we'll just click with alphabetical for now. And we will while if else, is it not if else, or is it else? Oh, it's else if, I think. And then semicolons, and are you happy now? Okay, so okay, I know I said we should not look at my old code, but I think I might have been onto something. Right. I think I was not a complete idiot. I am, in fact, a somewhat competent coder. So, correct, because what we're doing is that we are checking if the next we're looking for the next one is, so if there is a next one and the character is alphanumeric, so if it's either part of the alphabet or it's a number, we will simply put it to the into the buffer unwrap. And then this is finished when we either meet a symbol like the full stop or colon or a white space. So currently, if I'm not mistaken, the buffer will have a full identifier and we simply need to match it. So match buffer as string, and then func, we can go, if it's func, we'll say tokens dot push token func, right? And then it's going to complete complaining. We'll just say ident to shut it up, and we'll say tokens as this is, it's complaining that we're not matching to all possible strings. So we're doing like, this is a default case. We're just doing it now so that Rest Analyzer would stop yelling at me with its red squiggly lines. And then dot push token which do I need to do? It's going to be a all right, yeah, no, I remember why we have the dollar signs, because if we're going to have variables, which I believe at least WASM has support for variables. Although with that being said, like I'm pretty sure WASM is pretty weird as it has the same symbol for its dollar signs. No, where is Mozilla Docs? Let's, like, if we go into like instructions, variables, declare local. Yeah, like variables also have this dollar sign, which, like, the only reason I can imagine to prefix was to create that separation between the variables and function names. But if we already have like this dollar sign, I don't really see the point. Huh. That is quite odd. Well, anyways, I think at least for here, we should have dollar signs for variable names. And yeah, we'll have dollar sign for function identifiers. And then maybe for variables, we'll have it so that it doesn't need this, or we can always just like use something like percentage, but we are far from that. We'll have funcIdent, which, okay, no, that means that we need to move this from here, and then rather preferably we should be returning a result. And it's kind of lazy to probably do error handling, but I think it's best I do it now. So we'll turn a result. Does this work? No, it is wrong. But can I do this? Does that work? And then here we will just do a question mark. No. Oh, this is for like If it's not, never mind, never mind. And then if it's that, we'll do an error. For now, we'll simply make it errors are strings. Can I do this? No, I can't. Yeah, we'll just do string. Although this doesn't feel right. And then we will simply use write some error like unknown keyword space, and then we'll say unknown. I think that's how you spell unknown. Right. Oh, deal with Rust, man. When you put something like in a format, or like this, dot to string. No. Bro, what are you complaining about? Like to, yeah. Oh, it's asking. I think it's because of okay. No, it's still complete. Oh, and it's just return, right? And this is meant to be the macro. Let's go. And then we have func, we have result. I think I'll just change this to return. Although I see why, yeah, this is why it's not called return. Return's already a function. Ah. Do I need to keep it as a... Do I have to like name the results? Because like here, in the programming language itself, I don't have anything to distinguish this is the return type as. Intuitively, right, this would be the parameter, so obviously anything after it would have to signify the return. As opposed to how with Rust we have this. I think Zig also has it, and opposed to how C would have like the type in front. So you can see this would be like I32 and then etc etc. I think this is similar to Go style, where Go you don't need to put like something to signify this is the return, it'll automatically just know this is the return. So I'm wondering if I could do the same thing here. Although, would I even need to return in the first place? Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I know this does it, but would we have to? Because simply, if I wanted my function to return something, it's already done it. There's no real need here. I guess return means output to the function output outside of the function to output to this result type. So when this is called, whatever this return is put onto the stack when this is called. But I can't imagine having to do that. Wait, no. What I'm saying is even nonsense. Do I even need this? Wait, hold on a second. Did I like imagine this? Because what are these things doing? if I go in, right, cd no and space store. What? It wasn't telling like did it not return something? And then if I reverse what I did, so it does need that. This main? Yeah. Okay, WebAssembly translation error. Invalid input code offset 32. I have no idea what that means. And then expected I32, but nothing on stack. Huh. This sure is fascinating. And then if I don't turn, it works either way. What? How peculiar. What does this mean? What? Yeah, huh. Why would it? Okay, I think I have an idea why you need to specify what it's returning. I think it's because this works more, very much similar to just like a normal programming language than assembly. Because at least from what I'm gathering, when it says call like and then this function, what I assume this ends up getting like converted to is I32 a const and then whatever it's returns, right? So like this is a delimiter for that. So I'm assuming, and I could be completely wrong, I can do this. Is this correct? No. How bizarre. Yeah, I'm not sure I understand what's going on. Maybe the docs can tell me. It's instructions, local variables, I think in numeric. No. Return. Yeah, what is returned? If there are no returns left on the stack, it returns nothing void. If there are the same amount of values left on the stack. I don't. Nope. I'm not sure I am understanding at all. Do you have anything in terms of like functions? No, that's numeric. That's memory. Concepts. Um. Hmm. Bizarre, bizarre, bizarre. Okay, so I don't know why WASM does it, but at least from what my understanding is, I don't think I need to do this. Because I can't imagine when you'd want to return from a function. Maybe because I'm thinking too much of functions like labels. Perhaps. So at least for now, since I'm not sure why we do it, I'll remove it. As well as remove this return. Rather, we'll have start that calls that, push that into stack, and then return from the stack. More akin to your normal like x86 assembly. Which means we can remove the result. And we'll simply just treat this more like labels rather than straight up functions. Okay. Where were we? Okay, we need to parse keyword export. Tokens push export. Oh no, I misspelled token. And then colon return. All is going to be tokens dot token call, and we'll have one more called export call and return. Okay, and right, okay, so after we do this, what did I do? Because this basically comes after here. Right, we'll have the buffer. Here we have one buffer. Okay, we'll then have another else. I think a normal else, because this is everything with everything left should just be symbols. So most symbols will be, yeah. We won't have to do, I don't think we have to do the same thing as we did here. As a matter of fact, I don't think we even need to use the buffer. Although, let me make sure to clear the buffer. Okay, we're gonna match. Chars dot eq, and that is underscore sum. And then we'll check if we have, no, this would be characters now. The first character we're looking for would be, I'll leave the dollar sign for now. Let's just do the punctuation mark and colon. This is simply dot push. colon, and last is not last. Colon, no, this should be full stop. Um, Full stop, and then it's gonna equal tokens dot push full stop. Right, because we need to convert this to what? No, not is I will just unwrap. Could not be R. Non-exhaustive. Right. Last one we have would be the $sign. If it's this, and I should not forget to consume. It's not the same here. I do need to like content chars next. Although no, yeah, we'll say content chars dot next. Huh? And then content chars dot next. We shall then go we have that, I think, but we'll end up having to do something similar to this in the sense that we'll first need to go here, fix some formatting. Okay. What shall I do next? We have the buffer. And I believe we simply need to... Wait, no, before we peek, we need to go next. Content chars. Next. And then we have the buffer. And since we already know that it's going to be a function identifier, we can just do tokens.push func identifier that requires a string, which can simply go from buffered right. No, not all right. And finally, last thing, we should like give an error. And name this. Okay, errors. Oh gosh. Alright, cause yeah, I think we'll just do copy or clone. Yeah, it no more complaints. Alright. I think the tokenizer is good. So we'll let tokens equal tokenizer file content dot unwrap. No. O type token is private. Oh no, I'm not done. Damn it. I forgot about this statement here. So we need to go I32. and start push. Okay. Why was I expecting an I-32 from that? I am delusional. This shouldn't have anything. Right. I-32 and then const. Token const. And I'm missing integer and a string lit. Right. And I think in terms of that, we can put at least, okay, so with the string literal, I think we just need to copy. We'll see. Copy a bit of what we did here. But rather than wait until, so while peak is and chars is not equal to a backwards. Can compare with that. We wouldn't do that. Right. Which then means we have that, then rather than func identifier we'll do a string lit. Aha. Now we're just missing integer, which I think we're gonna do else if peaked dot is numeric. Currently we only have integers, so that should be as simple as while this one actually. I'm okay with keeping it for alphanumeric in case we want eventually have it so you can like suffix it with the type. We would simply do well that, and then copy what we do here, so tokens.push. And integer. No? Okay, not working. No, still not working. Wait, what? Huh? Wait, what? Expected in found constructor. Am I stupid? Oh, because it's expecting that. Oh, okay. We'll do that then. Buffer dot parse then dot expect not call integer. Right now, hopefully That's the change of field. Wait, what? Oh, field of the variance is never read. Stringlet also is. Anyways, and then all we need to do is print token. New? Yeah. Right, it needs to derive debug. Oh, token. No, let's cd into and it's gonna expect a which will say not sure. Finish panicked at unknown keyword colon. Oh, because that's not a space. Wait. Unknown keyword. Yeah. The question is, where did it find this colon? Hmm. Wait, do simples count? No. No. So, yeah, how did this happen? How is unknown that? What? I think it failed at that, right? Yeah, it failed. Yeah. Oh, unknown sim. Unknown punctuation. True. No idea if I'm saying that right. And then it fails because of presumably colon. Oh, this is a semicolon. Yeah, now it should fix. But it didn't complain. How bizarre. So it has func, then a func identifier, colon, then I32, full stop, const, integer, then func identifier, export, stringlet. Oh no. Okay, so we have another problem here. So while content chars.peak, I believe I need to just do content chars.next, content chars.next at the end. That should fix that. And it did in fact fix it. Okay, now I know when creating a normal language, you would create an AST from the tokens. But I'm thinking now if we even need to I guess you know we shall do it. Yeah, I create a parser. How did I do? Yeah, so now I need to create a syntax tree. So no inside of here, do mod parse. It shall complain. I know. But damn it, wrong thingamabob. Okay, and so we need to create a abstract syntax tree. Nodes of this tree would be struct. What the hell did I do this before? I have node like function, which takes an identifier, parameters, and function return and body as well. So in this case, a function would take node func would take an ident, which would just be a string, and I guess an identifier and export name. And then here we'll have like instructions. Yeah, I consider this an instruction. So instructions, which an instruction would simply be a list of node instruction, which we will be creating now. I think all of this needs to be public. I want to print. I want to be able to print, so as well as need to all derive debug theme. And node instruction. So a node instruction, what would the instruction? It would, oh gosh. Yeah, I see like node instruction, but like the syntax would change depending on the instruction. How do I do it here? Right, because surely like something like node type, it's just an enum. Yeah, I think node should also be pub enum, and then we'll simply have it so that each enum is like a struct. First we have this, which, what do you call this instruction? Stack conf, because this is like putting it into the i32 stack or i32 register, right? So push i32, I think. Eventually I'm gonna have other stacks, so I think it's best to just call this, well, for now call it const, and it shall be a struct with value, no, and then value which would be an enum, which would be like another enum pub enum let's say node value, which at least for now we'll have it be I32 I32, which would have an I32, and we'll simply have it so that the value is node value. And no. Right. But of course. And yeah, never mind. I do in fact do not need this to be a struct. This can in fact just be a normal enum. A const, and then we have a call instruction that would oh damn it. I think I've already found another problem. It's that this return doesn't specify from which stack is it returning. We'll say it's I32, right? We'll just say that. I don't know how WASM does it, and right now at least I don't think I care that much. So next we have a call function that will have a node what? Okay. Node func, which would be a hashtag drive debug. Yes, I did. Pub struct node func. Wait, no, I already have node func. Am I stupid? So after we have a call, we also need to have the return. Right. Return. Which would take its type. Which for now we'll just have it be the right ab enum, and for now it's just I32 is the only type we have. Okay, now let's make the pub function parser, which will take a, how do I parse it before? Oh no, here I have it so each thing has its own implementation of parse, and then when I just parse how do I do it? It gets really complicated. Frick. Weg. Okay. I don't know. I should probably have a reference to it as copying all the tokens could be an expensive task, but okay, let me not procrastinate doing it. Let's just do it now, and then Oh, right, we need a total thing to hold this. We'll have it just be like a node struct program. Derive debug the pub struct program node program. Let's see. Node program, at least for now, will just contain a list of. Although I think it also could just like. For now, we'll say it needs to be in a function. The instructions need to be in a function. Funcs should have of node fuck. Fuck. Oh. And we'll say this just returns a node program. Oh. Right, and will it do this? Because the return type would be node program functions. Once we have that, but at least for now, we then start parsing. Good lord. And this is like where the pain starts to do, because parsing is one pain to do. Oh. But we shall. This is not token. I named it func. Why is it different? We'll do parse, and then node func needs parse, which means impl or node func parse, which I believe here I have a parse just takes ownership. Oh no, damn. I see. It takes this behemoth that has lifetimes and galore. Thank you, Rust. Very readable syntax. But what this is doing is that it's. What is this doing? Anyway, let's just get rid of the errors. So import. So what this is doing, and I won't lie, I don't fully understand the syntax myself, but okay, first here is lifetimes because we're yeah, no, we're going to ignore the lifetime thing. I have no idea what's going on here, but I think I understand what's going on here. So peekable is things, yeah, it's a struct, and it's basically because what ends up we need to be able to peek as, yeah, this would be peekable, and we need iterator that's peekable, and peekable is something that can take an item, which we simply say that the item is a token. What I said probably made absolutely no sense. The rest is confusing. But okay, let's go. Identifier. Did I go next here? No. So I've only peeked, I haven't gone next. First thing I think I can do is token start next, which will consume like this. You know what, let me copy this stuff. Let's just paste it here. Make this look better. Should we do something like boom, 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 boom. Can your Vim do that? I know it can. I know it can. But anyways, so here we peaked. So we didn't, like, we just saw this. We didn't go into it. We consumed it. So next what's left is the identifier. We can then go, should we peek and then consume? Now let's just, we'll say tokens dot, we need to match x, because it should be an identifier. If it's not, just wrong. So func ident. Okay. Oh no, right, because this could, I need to unwrap. Okay. I think I need to add an ender file to the tokenizer. EOF ender file, which this will end if when tokens is some, which then means that we can simply go tokens dot push token ender file. Wait, what am I even doing? Right, I'm trying to get the identifier. So I think we should also let the func node is going to equal node func, but most of it's going to be empty ident new export name export. What was I smoking? Esports in my coding stream. Anyways, we'll then go like the tokens. Then we gotta look for, no, I have been disorientated. We are still filling in the func node. Export name will also just be a empty string. Instructions will just be a empty vector. and okay, looks about right. And then here, because right now we're looking for the function identifier, so func ident equals, just need to go, need this to be mutable. There we go. Func node dot ident equal ident. No. Oh, because it's still trying to return something. Let's shut it up. Now it's the problem. Right. But of course, if we have anything else, it should just be an error. I know I said I'm doing proper error handling, but again, I could not be arsed. So we simply need to return a panic. Syntax error expected func ident found. Yes, clone. I shall clone. And find. So then, next we can either expect a colon on export, and depending on that, we do take separate things. So go match tokens dot next dot unwrap. Oh. So it's either needs to be an export or colon. Colon would have like its own thing. First instructionless, okay. Okay, let's just first do export. Okay. Export. If we find an export token, we should then, the next thing should be a stringlet. Okay. String, let's roll. With the lit here. And let's just return a copy of the clone. Oh no. Right, because then we'll simply have export. Export name, right. Func node dot export name is going to equal. Although it doesn't always have an export. Now let's have it, rather than having it an optional, we'll just have it be empty string Although no, it is better to have, let's do proper Rust and simply have this be a none, and an export name should be an optional with a string. Proper Rust match, and this just needs to return some. Right, and then if it's anything else, we should panic. Syntax error expected being lit. I found that. And then exports, yeah. Right, it's either an export or it's a colon, and right. So then after we do this, we get the export name. We should also find a colon here, which means we should do tokens next. Check here, and then if tokens colon, we should, and so that we don't do copy, let's just do right, because this would be the thing mob. This would be the functions statement list. That's instructions. That's what. No. Yeah. Wait. What am I writing? It needs to be a match statement with tokens. I'm writing like a drunk man. What the hell am I doing? A match, yeah. You do match. Get rid of that. Colon. And if it's a colon, then we should do a general function, which will simply be called instruction parse. Let's go instructions, which will take a same thing as here. And then yeah, that doesn't exist, I'm aware. But if we find anything else, that would be a syntax error. So expected colon. Found that. Right. And back to the original day. Find the colon at first, because that was when we find export first. We should just have to copy this. errors. Right, now it's looking at us, screaming at us for parse instruction. Oh. Let's define this function. It shall be exact same signature here, as well as returning a vector of node instructions. Let's what errors? Oh, right. Yeah. We need to account for if there is a syntax problem, but this is when we are expecting either an export. We have more errors. Tokens. Cannot borrow tokens as mutable. It's not declared as mutable. Where is tokens borrowed mutable? How do I do it here? Yeah, oh, here. Where is it used mutably? I don't think I fully understand. Cause here, no statements. It's also exact. Oh, it's how I'm doing that. I don't need to do that. Right. So inside of the instructions, once we reach here, we know that this is the current thing. I guess since, well, not all, most functions, which instructions, how much which instructions do we have? Const, call, and return. Const and return. Call is is a bit of an exception. So we'll simply first match for the type tokens dot next dot unwrap. Right, and first things first, we're probably gonna get a token that is in I32, which would result in us having to either parse for a const or a return. Right. But we need to like consume the dot. Do we even need the dot? I will keep the dot. Because we need to check if this here, the now token is a full stop. Because I am lazy, we'll simply go if and next is not equal to this. We need to panic. Syntax error expected full stop found. Let's add that here. So we have the option to debug. And it's complaining about something. Okay. And we'll simply derefer. Right, and then huh? Oh. Alright. So now we have already consumed this. Now we are either need to do a const and that, so we can match the tokens. But next, and first we need to match if it is a const. Which would mean if we have a const, we have a value as well. Alright, we need to push into instructions. Let's make it mutable first. Instructions dot push. Oh no, I need to get the value first. Damn it. Let's token equal dot next dot unwrap. I'll give a token, and then we can simply go if the token not equal to this, now it'll just be an integer. Oh, I can't do that. I need to match. Okay. Although I think this is maybe for the beta token. Integer and that. Now we can do instructions dot push. What am I pushing? I'm pushing node instruction a const, and it's going to be a node value i32, which will have in int as i32. Trust me, bro. Don't worry about it, Rust. If it's not that, we know it's an error. So let me change this. It's gonna be real confusing later on. And semicolon. And if it's that, then we can simply panic. Expected full stop, not expected full stop, expected integer value found. Right, and then that's for one instruction. Next instruction is call. Looking at this, I think most of this should be in its own parsing. We'll finish and then do a bit of refactoring because I'm now realizing that this looks a bit wrong. Anyways, we have call, which should no, because yeah, we're looking for the ones that begin with i32, so we're looking at return. Unwrap. Let us unwrap the error. So if it's a return, we don't need to do much actually. Right, we just need to return it with no type. We can simply do realizing that it's a spelling mistake, and then we simply go instructions dot push node instruction return. The node type will simply be node type i32, and then comma, then be in panic. So this, then whatever they did does not go after type identified here. Don't know if that makes sense, and I don't really care. Right, so we have i32, we've done return and constant. Now we just need to do call. And then token pull, token call. So if it's a call token, the next token should be a function identifier. So match. What? Oh. Okay. Func identifier and then ident. We know we can just like instructions dot push. Um. In instructions dot push, we just need to take the node instruction. Instructions and it's a call and then God. Oh damn, no, this is wrong. Yeah, this shouldn't be called node func. Instead of call, we should simply have an identifier which would just be a string. Yeah, that's wrong. Because inside of here, we can go. You are not happy. Why aren't you happy? Oh, got to match. Next, wrap. Push call, which requires me to put in ident.clone. And if it's not that, we know it is an error. And the error is expected. I didn't found something else, and then it's complaining because it's not fully completed. Because we need to write. If it's not that, I think it'll be an error. No, because okay, how do I end this? I think to end it, it would need to look for a func token, which would mean not to parse. No, but this is to parse until the next function. So this is parsing until I think I understand why I initially had the new line as a character. But for a situation like this. Although, rather, what I'm going to do is we're going to cut all of this, have it be its own function. I will figure that out. Node instruction node. Tron. We can go like this. Match to fix some of the syntax. Tab. Yeah, first things first. let's get this here. And whenever we see instructions, we should just, rather than, okay. So and voila. Right, and then here, can I like undo a next? Because I'm now regretting that back. But um I messed up. I think this should just be peak. If we have to peak, does that offset everything as we need to do tokens that next all these parts? So in the beginning of this and the beginning of this. Right. And then finally we can say wait, no. No. We don't need to do that. This can be next. As it'll just not process the next instruction. We can then say token and then panic. Expected. Yeah, will just be instruction found. Right, that gives us a single so we now need to do inside of here, right? We're gonna go like while tokens dot peak dot unwrap. While that is is some and tokens is some and token I'm going to about to write the ugliest rest of my life. Can we like dereference? Um, true. Then the other one here is, this is such bad code, man. Ah, man, that's such bad code. I'll refactor it later. And simply say true again. Otherwise, false. Okay, we are done with that. So basically, we now have here we'll do instructions dot push load instruction first. We have an error. Where the hell do we have an error? Ah, yeah. Oh, and it should be done. Oh, that was a lot of coding with not a lot of running, so I am dead scared. Okay, but let's do this. Hopefully this works. Hopefully. Right, I did not quote it. Sockets and then let syntax underscore tree equal what's the main function? Is it public? And then syntax tree. Aha. Oh no, god damn it. Found either expected colon found either. I think it has to do with tokens. I think it has something to do. Let's print tokens. So print line m tokens. Hmm? And then tree. I think it's great. Yeah. Expected colon found item. Ooh. It's the only place where it will panic like that, and it's when we are parsing for here. Yet, at least to me, that doesn't make sense because it's a colon. I assume we're panicking here. Oh, Yeah, this is idiotic. Yeah, what the hell am I writing here? I don't need to do anything. I just need to. Oh damn it! Oh man. What code was I writing? Could not compile. Oh no. Hmm? No, I think I fucked up with what I was doing. Yeah, I can get rid of this. And I can get rid of this. Except no. Because what we're trying to do is simply that. I can equal. And we can get rid of that. Invalid token at program piece. And then let's say token end of file. We shall simply ignore it. Or we could break out of the loop. Let's break. The tree is kinda hard to kinda hard check when it's like this. Let's go here, node program. First we have the funcs, which is node func ident export name instruction, which const here and like that's that. Func and then ident via export name instructions. That's why it looks funny. Instructions. We have first construction all and that makes sense as we have two functions. One is main, the other one is start. The one doesn't have an export name, the one does have an export name, and we have the instructions. So we fully parsed the program. I guess next stream we should try going through this tree and like actually building the machine. But thanks for watching. If you're watching the VOD on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment all that YouTuber stuff. And goodbye.